Nope, not yet. All right. Welcome to the next demo day. It is August 19th. We have a ton of stuff. We are in full-on building mode. So a lot of cool things to show. I think just to be fair to everybody, I think we'll start with Javi. But do you have a rough sense of like pacings? I'm curious if this is something that can fit in like a 15 to 20-minute window.
Yes, I can keep it quick. I have a lot of things to show. I'm super excited to share a lot of things, but let's keep it quick.
Yeah, awesome. Why don't you start?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let me start. So can you guys see my screen? Cool. Yes. What you guys see here is basically Phoenix. This is basically the place where we have all of like our agent workflow runs in production, and we can see over time how these workflows work and have like results against our evals. So we have this new one, which is text to SQL semantic, which is the one that I'm using right now. In production. We can see here, if we go, that we have some new field, which is this metadata. So this is the first thing that I want to show. All of like the different new runs have this metadata, which has interesting stuff, such as like when was this recorded, the commit hash, the branch. If it's like a dirty branch, maybe you're running something that's not like something that's published. So with these uncommitted changes, we can see if that's like the thingy. And then we have this MRO, which means model reference object. For those of you who are not familiar with like what Python MRO is, it's basically how it handles inheritance. So since we actually use like a lot of mixins, we have all the call chain on the inheritance chain. So if we want to like, not have to go to GitHub, not have to go one by one through like all of like the classes to see what this mixing is actually using, we can just get it in the metadata. So we can see it's using, like the vector database, SQL response, blah, blah, blah. Has some information about the LLM as well. I was using Flash in this moment with this embedding, Python version, whatever. So this is just like a centralized place to like see some quick information about like the agent. I also wanted to show these two runs. Basically, this is like the run that we have now in production. This is the run that's. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yeah. Quick question. The data sets. Are there any material differences between the examples in the data sets, like text to SQL semantic versus the other one? Like,
no, they're using the same data set and the same things.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, no pressure. Just in the future, yeah. Let's just merge it, right? Or is there any reason to keep it separate?
No, there's no reason. I think we should, we should merge it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, absolutely. So we can see all the comparisons. Yes, I agree. Cool. So another thing that I wanted to show is like we can see how everything has improved. So this is basically after I added the vector storage and adding the embeddings. So as we can see, the check valid SQL metric has grown in 14%, and check valid result in 11%. This one is still negative, it's still suboptimal, but it's getting closer to 0. In the future will be closer to 1. And yeah, all of these metrics have gone up, and the cool thing as well is like latency has also gone down. So we have fasted runs with better results, which is metrics that we want to like take care of. Super quick, how does like let me go here. How does sorry. Here, yeah. If I change it here. So how does everything work now? Well, there has been some changes in mixins to allow the semantic to hook to the vector mixin. I didn't want to show this here, sorry. We can see here comparing with like the other runs, so now we can have like side-by-side comparison of the different metrics, and we can actually see which ones are performing well. For example, this one succeeded with like, our improved semantic with like the vector store. This one failed. So we can see.
Left side is vector store, right side is no vector store?
Correct, yes.
Got it. I'm noticing that like a lot of the ones where it fails, it gives this like exceeded max retries. I'm curious, like for every single example where it actually gives you a result, is it the correct result, or do we ever get a result that's just wrong?
So I think there's an eval to check this. I think like if we take, for example, let's take one, I don't know, let me see, 111. This one, for example, you know, the optimism collection ones seems to be correct, 777. I think like they are correct, you know, I would say so.
Oh,
But
what happened to the view that shows the SQL output of this as well? Or is that only in
good good. Okay, so let me check when this one was. This one was like 12:30 a.m., which is around 18 hours. Let me go here, so more or less this one.
Oh
So,
yeah, I'm not looking for the trace.
oh,
Yeah, it was actually like a change that I made so that there was an additional column that actually added the SQL as part
Yeah,
of
we want to be able to see what is the SQL that the agent is outputting. Like that.
yeah, I don't think we have this here. Am I maybe behind in the branch? I think I should be pretty up to date. Unclear.
Yeah, this is a change that I made a while ago. Huh. Okay.
I've seen it like this for some time, so yeah, I haven't seen the other SQL column.
Okay. How did that get lost? Yeah, I'll take a look. Yeah.
Cool. So before passing to the next thing, I want just people to realize that,
Can you go
yes,
back?
yeah.
So can you go to one where the check valid SQL is like a one? Yeah. Ruben, can you remind me again what these like purple and green ones mean? So the check valid SQL means it is making SQL at all, right? Okay, great.
Yes. Yes.
Valid SQL is it a exact string match with my reference output? Is that what it is?
No, yeah, it's not an exact string match. So okay. Oh, you mean sorry, check valid SQL result?
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe that is what that is attempting to do. Let's see. Nope, never mind. Sorry, I'm looking at this right now. Yeah. It so the SQL, like the valid SQL result is whether or not it actually compiles that SQL. So that's the same thing. Hold on. SQL.
Like, I'm just trying to understand, is this a good result or a bad result? Like,
yeah.
Result exact match, result fuzzy match is 0. So does that mean it spit out the wrong answer?
It spit out the wrong answer. Yeah, it spit out the wrong answer. So, yeah, I'm trying to remember check valid SQL result. What it
like, Javi, when you are thinking about accuracy, which of these evals are you actually using?
So I'm checking this type similarity. Basically, this eval, to my understanding, is comparing the types that this is using, like my result, with the reference. So you normally, so I think like comparing it, like, you know, the agent can take like a different approach. Maybe this is like some different CTEs, something, whatever. So inherently, the AST may look different from one to another. So if it's like using like the same colors, the same types, it's probably something good. So mostly I've been taking this one. I'm also taking like the fuzzy match. Exact, it's like too narrow. So it's like a combination of these two. This like valid SQL result is just like, it's like the agent did some valid SQL.
Yeah, so we had to do this in 2 stages. So the check valid SQL was whether or not it actually was SQL at all. And then the check valid SQL result is whether or not it's anything related to any tables that we actually have. So those need to be renamed, actually, I realize. And then the SQL type similarity was a categorization, like, you know, is it actually doing joins, or, you know, like what's the Jacquard similarity of the like the analysis of any given, you know, SQL query. So that we have, and then the final one, like the models used similarity is like, are the right models in use? And then yeah, the result exact match is pretty clear, and then the result fuzzy match is also pretty clear. So
exact match respects ordering or doesn't care about
respects ordering. Yeah.
ordering? Okay.
Mhm.
And fuzzy match doesn't care about ordering.
Fuzzy match does not. Fuzzy match does not care. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Thanks for explaining. Got it. And when I look, like, if you go back to the overview page, if you go back one, and these results are negative, what does that mean?
It's being penalized, I think, by giving something completely different. That's where we get into the negative ones.
Why
That's
would
my
it be between 0 and 1? I guess I don't understand. Like,
Yeah, so this is a change that Evan made. I think we should actually make it between like it should be not negative. It should just fail or succeed. So yeah. I think the negative skews the results.
I don't even know what the range is. Is the range -1 to 1?
Yeah.
Is it unbounded? Like when you do penalties, like you're telling me by definition, I think, or no, sorry, implicitly I'm hearing that it's unbounded.
Yeah, let me double check it's -1 to 1. Yeah.
Okay. So these are really bad results.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'm like, Javi, is this like similar to your understanding? Like, how are you thinking about optimization when we're in the negative?
Yeah. So what I think is like the evils right now haven't been changed in a while, and I think like we can write different ones which are more accurate and more clear. So I think that's something that we should explore. And I think like I have like quite a few issues open regarding like how to make the model better. So you see there's like a lot of like retries. Basically, these retries happen because the agent gets lost, like the error context, like the retry error context gets lost in the flow of how to actually build a semantic query, how to actually do the right relationships. And I'm giving him the, hey, you are using conflicting types here. And it's just like not trying again. It's trying the same things. That's why it's failing. So I have an issue, an epic with like a lot of like issues that I think will help us. And I think like if I can implement the easier ones with most potential to return, we can boost these numbers greatly. But I think it's a mix of like the evals and like this issue.
Yeah. Would you mind filing an issue just to kind of like with some concrete suggestions on how to improve the eval chips? Because first of all, negative numbers make no sense to me. But second of all, yeah, definitely improve the names because check valid result, like I was looking at that and was thinking, oh, we're doing really well, but that actually doesn't mean what I think it means. So we should probably rename these to reflect what we actually mean to say. The other bug is like, I do remember, I mean, if you go back to in our YouTube channel, you should see Ruben demoing like
it may have somehow gotten lost in there, but all you need to do is be able to just concatenate the SQL in the result, like the result string. It's maybe when I change things over to workflows, I must have missed something there. Yeah. But basically, like, yeah, if we can get the SQL and the answer, just concatenate that all. That would be good enough.
Got it.
I guess
Okay.
I'm still a little confused as to why we are synthesizing a natural language answer. Like, there is no use case where we want. Maybe. I guess if we
no, because I remember now. I synthesized just the SQL once, and you were like, "But what about the answer?" So I'm gonna push back on that. You want both. You definitely want both.
Definitely want both, but I don't want natural language wrapping the answer. Right?
What? Oh, you would prefer to see like the data frame.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be nice, but you can't visualize that on Phoenix for whatever stupid reason.
Right.
Yeah. Like, this is one of those things where I'm like, oh yeah, like
Okay. All right. Fine.
the tool doesn't match what we want.
Ignore what I said. Ignore what I said. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So Javi, yeah, it's very possible maybe I forgot even to do this, the concatenating of the SQL now.
No worries.
There was a SQL time, and then there was a So just concatenate the SQL into that final experiment answer, and that'll be good enough. Yeah.
Got it. I have it wrote it down in the issue. I will expand it later after demo day. So yeah, before switching to the next thing, what I want people to know is like some numbers are going up, the time is going down. So yeah, little by little, we have the metrics here, like in production, we have all the telemetry. So now definitely what I want to do in the next sprints on the side is to try to tackle the easiest issues that I diagnosed to like increase performance that will probably yield as much improvement as possible. And that way, I want to show, every week or every 2 weeks, every demo day, how these numbers are hopefully going up. And the metadata will be able to see all the history. And we could, maybe just assess which has been our worst workflows and just iterate better without having to go over all the files on GitHub. So yeah, this is everything on the AI semantic thing. Yes.
Two things I just want to add. One is, well, actually, first of all, do you have an epic that's tracking in priority order which optimizations you think are most useful?
So it has everything listed. I have not added priorities, but I can do that in linear. But I have an epic tracking this.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, 633. Yeah, please add a priority to each one of these, and then that'll auto sort. That'll be useful. The second thing is, yeah, I'm glad you're doing things in production now. Like, doing things in production means you can share it. If I were you, I would actually increase the retention. Right now, the retention is set to, I think, 2 days, which is really short. I think you can increase the retention, but delete the runs that you don't care about, right? And what we actually want to see, like if you, scroll to the left, like there's a description, right? So between the metadata and the description, you can start making a long running log in production. If you can help curate this over time, that would be really helpful.
What do you mean by log? I think I didn't understand you.
So the retention right now is 2 days, which means this is going to go away immediately, right? By a log, I mean like if the retention were 3 months or 6 months, right? Then I should have a lot of these. Like I should have dozens of these. You can checkbox any one of them and delete them if you think they're not significant. The checkbox is on the left. But if you can help populate the metadata and the description.
Got it. So basically,
then I should see 6 months worth of improvements in one screen.
Yeah. So you want me to add some description to the significant ones? For example, this is V001. This is when we added semantic store, so you can see over track which one. Got it.
Yeah.
Let me write that down. Description with.
I mean, I think that would be amazing, right? Yeah. Is actually you just have one log over 6 months, and you can see how things are improving over time.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. So that's what I wanted to show on the agent side. I wanted to show one last thing, and it's this issue. It's 4808. It closes a lot of stuff. I'll say it again. Sorry for going super deep. But the cool thing that I want to show is here we have a workflow diagram of how the semantic one currently works. I think I can put it in full screen around here. Yeah. So basically how it works, it starts with the first text SQL start event. It then fires up the query engine event. And this one analyzes the schema, retrieves all the raw context, and then gives everything back to the main semantic workflow. This will extract all the entity context from the vector retrievers, and it will call the tool itself. It will call the semantic query tool with this new vector context, which is what it's giving us the extra points in between these different queries. Workflows. If it works, it will get a semantic query event, which will try to build a SQL from the semantic query. If it doesn't work that, or for whatever reason, the building from the semantic JSON representation 2, the SQL fails, it will fire a retry semantic query event, which will try to get again the vector, and we'll try to then call the new tool with all the state what failed in between. So hopefully that would actually fix the max retries that we're seeing, and it will just try again. If that happens, then it will retrieve the SQL results, and then if there's like a synthesized response, it will synthesize a response. If it doesn't, it's not, and then it will just return a response. This is how it works right now.
Have you looked at any traces where the max retries are exceeded, and do you have a sense of like, is it getting stuck? Is it giving the same thing over and over again? Is it?
Yes. So I know what's happening, like certainly, and I have like an issue with like the track stack. What's happening right now is the error context, it's getting flooded. It's getting like drowned in everything, So the error, it's like, hey, you're trying to mix varchar with time, that cannot you cannot do that. But it's not doing anything different because there's so much context that just gets flooded. So I have actually 2 issues which will fix that. The first one is making the prompt more concise. But after having read this paper, I don't think that's the way to go. It's better like restructure the prompt in a better way. And the second one is whenever we encounter this error, before firing up into the retry semantic event, we should have like a synthesize error workflow step, which tries to synthetically fetch more context, try to explain the LLM so that it doesn't like fall into the same things. You did this bad, change it. So that's the two that I already have them filed. So I will talk with them in the close future. And one cool thing is like I definitely want to continue building these diagrams. I think they're like super cool to show the team how this works under the hood. It's not a black box. You can follow it like step by step. So yeah, I think that we will compile a list of them over time, and you will have 6 months worth of diagrams and runs. Cool.
Yeah, feel free to just in the work. I don't know what the right directory is, but like just check in markdown files, right, with mermaid diagrams, with the workflow, with whatever how are you versioning or checkpointing the workflows. That would be awesome.
Got it. Yeah, I will do that. Sounds perfect. Okay, and the last thing that I want to show is all the new GraphQL Factory features. So when I started this sprint, I didn't think that I was going to spend this much time both like working and my free time on this factory. But to be honest, I just had a lot of fun doing it, and it was something that has proven to be really rewarding web docs and really cool at the end. So let me show you the documentation super quick. So if you click here, contribute data, and you go to the GraphQL API crawler, you will see that we have a really bigger configuration right now. And we take this pagination config, we take this exclude config, which have like a retry config. So we have a lot of things that are under the hood have been going. So the first thing that we have is we have asset dependencies, which mean that if we have an API that exposes some information, in the past, we couldn't actually explain this relationship between items. Let's say that we need to get all IDs for, let's say, the QF rounds, and then for each QF round, we have to get the project inside. In the past, what we needed to do is we needed to materialize the main project, put it to BigQuery, DuckDB, or whatever, and then consume that as an asset dependency, and then run it again, which is something that at the end of the day, we don't want that medium dependency. So what this does is this fixes it. What happens is like whenever one of these queries gets run, it will feed to all the leaves, all the children, and this will recursively feed other children until only the child leaves return data. DLT will merge everything together, and that's how we actually can pass this dependency function. The cool thing about how it's done right now is that instead of having like a DLT source, we are yielding resources, a generator of resources, which means that we can yield factories inside factories. And it can reach a moment where we use, for example, 2 factories. And then at the leaf node, we can use a completely custom resource, DLT resource. So it's like super customizable. And the cool thing as well is like all the interfaces are fully typed. Everything is like super nice because you type and you get like all the options, all the type checking. So it's been done with a lot of love and care in that aspect. It's something that it doesn't use any, so it's something that is like, really well typed. I'm really proud of that. And it's also super robust. So the 2 things that happen is like in the pagination config, let me actually show you one asset so you can actually see it better. So warehouse, OSO Dexter, assets, default. So we have this one, which is the giveth. Yeah. So in the pagination config, we can do something like we get like the type, like it's an offset, it's by a field, and then you can set the page size, limit field, rate limit second, so you can configure that. But the one that I wanted to show that's like way better is like the open collective one. For reference, in the past, how this is done is like we had to manually get all the JSON, so it's like almost 700 lines of code that have been replaced with this configuration. So this configuration has a lot of things, but it's super cool because this is how we are going to do this new replication in the future, because the Open Collective API is super flaky. There's segments of data that just don't work, no matter what you do. So it's like edge cases that I've had to like fix over time. So basically, this exclude field is for admin fields that only admins have access to, but we don't have, so it will fail. So we just skip them. Pagination config is also really big. It has like offset. It fetches 200 pages at a time, and then it gets the total count and waits 1 second in between retry. But the thing that I want to show you now is this retry config, which is like really extensive. So basically, every time that it encounters an error and it will fail, it will try 10 times again. Then it will have a delay between 1 and 5 seconds. If you have the backoff multiplier, which like tell how many times it multiplies in the backoff until it reaches the maximum, jitter will add a degree of randomness because we don't want to see as bots. So yeah, we have some jitter. Then this one is like one of the cool ones, which is reduce page size. With Open Collective, what happens is like some segments have a lot of data, super condensed. So their API has problems and just cannot return our data. So when we encounter one of these, we try to ask for less and less and less until it has enough bandwidth to give it to us. We will go down from 200 to 10 minimum by keeping 60%. So we go 40% down every time. So we go to 50, then we go 40% plus, I think it's 10, 20% due to the jitter. And then this continuing failure means that if after all those retries, there's like a problematic segment, let's load it to Dagster internal tables and just skip it because we don't want to, we don't want to fail the whole run if one account is missing, or one account is just problematic. So that's how we do. Then we create the resource. And it returns a normal resource, so it's like the API we're used to. Everything here is fully typed, and then we can just add DLT stuff, like we can partition by table if we want. So everything is, yeah.
Love this, very clean. Do we have good reference documentation for every magic field?
So we have documentation. It explains what it does.
But for every reference documentation for every magic field in the config.
We have here, we have all of them, so here we can, this explains how everything works. I don't know if this is like really, it's not succinct. It's not like, really in depth. It's just like a mention. I think like if we want to have agents use these factories, we need to invest in documentation. And I will definitely have to do that.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, I think that's fine. I think this is fine. What's probably more common, tell me if you disagree, Ruben or Ikaro, is to just have an example like JSON inline with like inline comments. And that's close. That's good enough. It just makes it like more obvious, like the JSON object that I need to like pass in. But yeah, this is fine.
Cool. So yeah, basically what I want to like stress again is like all of like these 700 lines of code, which I did more than a year ago now. Time flies. I've gone full circle. I've replaced it with like, the really clean, cool solution. So yeah, I'm happy that this is working really well. I'm happy that the interface is super clean. And yeah, it's like
that's
straight
awesome. Up. I feel like I am really curious. Like the next step after this, I think you might have seen the issue that I filed. Let me pull up the number. Issue number 4790.
Let me check.
If you want to pull that up real quick.
Yes.
I think this is the last step.
Let me get 4790. Yeah.
Rules / copilot rules, right? That has enough context about the documentation of how to use this, say, GraphQL factory to just start producing a butt ton of pull requests. So for example, maybe one issue that we would assign the agent is go enumerate all of the top subgraphs, which all have a GraphQL interface, figure out what their schema is, and enumerate assets for every single one of them, right? Like, and then create a pull request autonomously. I think like the gap between where we are now to that is actually not that far.
Yeah, I think that's totally doable in the close term. We definitely want to. My problem with that is like we need to like have some test infrastructure for that. We cannot just push into production and hope it to work. So have we done any advances in that? But I mean, I'm super excited because like we are like super close to this. Like factory is working. We have the agents. We just need to like connect them.
Yeah, or like you file an issue and it like you tell the agent, okay, go read this documentation. Like for example, the Give It stuff that Rashmi is working on. Go read the documentation. Tell me what the schema looks like. Help me produce a valid configuration, and then we have in CI the ability to test and run it.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be cool if you could be like, if whatever process we have for this, specifically for the cursor or whatever rules are generating this, also run something and get a Parquet file that dumps it into the PR, so we can actually like look at the Parquet, because that would
see the shape is right.
Because if we're wondering, that's probably the easiest right now, rather than going all the way.
I think maybe we can add like a step. So maybe we can add like a decorator or something for our assets that if they're like by a bot, it should add it, and that will upload it to GitHub, like maybe like to that specific thread or something via the bot. Like a bot, something like that. I think would help. Maybe like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So that's everything on my side. The only piece of the puzzle to fix right now is like the API is really big. It's like 500,000, and it's like super slow because like the fields are really big. So every query is like around 30 seconds that they need to return the data. So this won't fail again. It's like really robust. But I definitely want to explore like if I can actually go even like bigger for Circle and plug this to like the parallelized DLT resource, so we can even have like that. Exciting times, exciting work, and that's everything on my side.
Sweet. All right, who wants to go next?
I can go next. Should be fairly quick. Let me hear.
Yeah, it's cool to see it all come together. I really like these demo days because you can, it like starts to feel more palpable, and when you see it, it's different than just hearing about it at stand up. So thanks for sharing.
So the first thing is that data provenance availability in the OSO client. Now we'll have this new query. Before you would do two pandas here, and you would have your data frame. Now you can do query, and you'll have this query response. And in this query response, you'll have the analytics field inside. Let me execute this. Which, with this analytics field, you can have access to some analytics regarding the data you queried. For example, if I print the artifacts here, you will see how this artifacts table is created from every source to every SQL mesh model in between as well.
Did you fix the references here? Actually, because I didn't get to do that yet.
Yeah. I'm pointing locally here.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
And you can also access the sources, and you can the sources would be all the leaf nodes, and you can print which what are the sources for this table, the table you queried. That's basically it. There's not much than that. So the data it shows the table it comes from and when it was last materialized in our data pipeline. Any questions? Nope.
It's cool. It's really cool.
Looks nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
super
dig this a lot. Yeah. Yeah. I'm already thinking of ways, Ray, like adding this into Marimo, like how we can visualize, like when you run this query, also show the analytics, like it'd be cool. It'd be very cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, I'm envisioning a world where ideally we try to keep feature parity between like the web interface and the PyOSO interface, right? To the extent possible. Yeah, obviously not.
Yeah. I mean,
really possible,
I
but-
would feel like all of it should be powered by PyOSO on that web interface anyhow, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if the SQL cell is powered by PyOSO, then you can kind of like expose other functionality through it and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The nice thing about PyOSO is a lot of it is really, it's a, I don't want to say a dumb client, but it's mostly just a client, just so yeah. Except for the semantic part, yeah. But yeah. So
Yeah.
cool.
Which, to be honest, is also like there's nothing very
Yeah.
like
It's not doing much, yeah. So
yeah. It's just like basic. There's no like weird package that we need to do some weird build processing. So
no, yeah. It's all very, yeah. I mean, it can be entirely Python, which is nice. Yeah.
yeah, it's just vanilla.
Yeah. Yep. I
And
still remember.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I still remember at Eat Denver when Ikro was like, "I don't want to demo this. This is like such a dumb client. There's like nothing to it." Dude, I don't think you understand. This changes everything.
High value dumb client, man.
Changes everything.
And
I mean,
no,
the other thing I was just gonna say is that like part of like Ruben, especially as you and I start to think through like UX or developer experience, like a lot of these features are probably just plumbing, like connecting this to this, and it's like stuff that we already have, but the UX affordance of like doing something in a split second versus something that would typically take 10 seconds for Carl, like those small wins actually like, they're going to feel magical to him, even though like from a technical perspective, it's like not that interesting.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like Figma, it's just,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Unblocking you to be creative in whatever other thing. So
Cool. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. What were you saying, Ikro?
no, I was gonna change the topic. So
cool.
yeah, it makes sense, and we all have these moments where you want to do something that you do every day, and you're like, "Oh man, I know it's gonna take like 10 minutes to set it up." So no, and then
Yeah.
if it's just like if it were 10 seconds instead, it would be like way more willing to.
Yeah, you'd also just be happier.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think about, if Terraform was just 10 seconds of my life.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the build.
And YAML was 0 seconds, but yeah. Like,
Talking about Terraform.
yeah. Speaking of.
Yeah. So this is the current setup for the archive nodes. It's in Terraform, and this Terraform just basically just specifies some basic stuff. More specifically, the instance type, how much disk it has, this kind of stuff. It also, I set up a simple node setup here that you can use, which just downloads Docker and set up stale scale, which is the important part, because stale scale is how we set up the SSH into the instances for security. So when you create an instance, Tailscale will run some setup. There's also the docs here. Archive.
How do you authenticate on Tailscale in this
Sorry?
setting? How do you authenticate on Tailscale in this setting?
Exactly. So when the node first runs, you can see in the logs there will be a login link for Tailscale, and you click that, you authenticate with like OAuth, and then it will be linked to our Tailscale VPN. So there's this manual step on the startup of the instance. One thing, currently, the SSH is only tied to whoever links the instance, so we need to change that. I still haven't looked into it. Probably just changing the Tailscale rules to allow like SSH into these specific instances. Probably also adding a tag to the instance, so we can do like, oh, you can SSH into all VMs with the tag VM or something.
Yeah, it's something related to tagging. Yeah, on Tailscale, because yeah, tagging allows it to exist with the organization as the owner. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and also probably we'll need to add like a rule to say, oh, everyone can SSH into this tag.
Yeah. Do we have an issue for that? I'm just gonna make one now. If not,
I don't know.
I will make one now.
I guess the only unorganized thing currently is because the easy part is creating the instance, right? The like kind of annoying part is making the instance run what you want it to run. And currently we don't store. I've only stored the command in the tasks. I'm not sure where to store these, because each archive node will have a different like setup, like Docker setup and stuff like that. Currently, I've only saved the Docker command in the issues itself. So that's a good. I need to think if we should probably store it somewhere in code as well.
Like just like a Docker compose file?
Yeah, basically. I didn't use Docker Compose. I use Docker Run instead, but it could be also the Docker Compose file, because some will probably need more than one container, right? Since they were
Exactly.
just a single container, I use Docker Run.
And if it's at like a well-known location, then it could just be part of the boot script to just run Docker Compose up, and then it's like all in code basically at that point.
Yeah, you would need to push the code to the instance too, right? But yeah, that's the current setup. It has a bit of manual stuff. One thing that I wanted to add, maybe in Terraform, I'm not sure, is the alerts, some alerts to the instances. Not sure how easy it is to add alerts in the instance, in the Terraform.
Can you just show us the? Yes, I agree, but can you also show us like what is the process of just checking the current status?
Oh yeah. I currently you check the status in Google, in the Google console. So come here, type VM. It will be the first two currently. And you just click observability, and it has pretty good metrics.
But like, sorry, there's two statuses, right? I think the cryo status you would monitor in Daxter, but there's the sync status, which how would you get that?
Oh, you mean like how the latest block or something?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that you would need to.
Right now, you need to SSH into the machine, but we can't because only Icaro can, because we need to fix that SSH thing.
Yeah, and exposing, I don't know how easy it is to expose this.
Yeah, they don't have documentation on their Prometheus stuff. So I don't even know what endpoint Prometheus is on. But I do, if I can get onto the machine, I could probably figure it out.
Yeah, because they are. Let me present my screen. It's easier.
Because yeah, like if we can get the Prometheus there, then we could just hook it up to the managed Prometheus on our Kubernetes, probably.
So as you can, it's pretty easy to SSH with Tailscale. And yeah, it has the ops agent, right, running here. I forgot the command to check it. But for now, if you want to see the blocks, you're gonna need to check the logs, which is all weird stuff. So probably around this block. I guess, is there a RPC method to check the latest block it has?
Actually, yeah, I guess it's the ETH like block number. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Block underscore number?
Shoot. Yeah, hold on. I think so. I think it's, yes, ETH underscore block capital N for number. So one word, block number, but capital N for number, camel case.
There it is.
In hex. Classic Ethereum.
Well, better than nothing. Yeah, I mean, I guess if we randomly
yeah, the Ethereum one is pretty, like, it is catched up. I think it's catch up, so it's just updating as live. The average one I haven't checked, like, what height it is.
All right, you are a experienced node operator now.
Not oh my god, it's so slow.
Are we at least is the trajectory still correct? I guess is the question, right?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, because like we had projected something like 50 something days, and if that's not the case, like we need to know, at least about when it's going to fall, right?
Do you have a spreadsheet that you're keeping track of, like what the number is at the beginning of every day?
Yeah.
Let me check this call. Let me check this call here, and then I can just create a script to call it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you local cron or something for yourself. Cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I just wanted a integer decimal. But yeah, we need to verify this. The speed is coming. And that's it for me. Oh, Ray, you're muted.
I know that would be great if we could just get some, daily samples. That would be really helpful, just to make sure we're not totally off. I would love to be pleasantly surprised, and it's faster than you think.
I would love to be pleasantly surprised.
Have you ever been pleasantly surprised in anything DevOps ever?
No, it's always, yeah.
It's always worse than you think.
Yeah. It's always worse than you think.
And you're already usually not like optimistic about it, and it's just to be worse.
All right.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I can go quickly, I think. Yeah, let's see. So where's the window? Share here. Let me just share this one. You guys see the screen? Sweet. Okay, so the first one I'm going to go over is the code locations. Not too much to go over here. I know that, Ikaro and Javi, you both reviewed everything, but the code locations now appear in our deployments. So if you go to the deployment, you can see them here, which is pretty cool. And one of the reasons why I did it this way, and actually, I guess I should just be sharing my whole screen. Actually, let me do that. Is that running all of this locally is significantly faster now. Hold on, I'm just going to share my whole screen. So let's say we're on here. Whoops. Whoops. Okay, so yeah, so I think here, yeah. If I wanted to run just the normal code location, use just as normal, you do the Dagster dev. This is all set up in the PyProject toml here. So tool.dagster, this module name, this is whatever the default thing should be if you run it without any options. So you run this, and then you can see this is going to load very, very quickly. Yeah, that took what, like, where's the full-on number? Well, it was fast. Yeah, so it's fast to load all of that. So now I can actually go to this guy and then, see these assets. Now, obviously, you're not going to, so when you run this locally, one thing to note is if you are not running all of the code locations, some of them that have, previous materializations, if for whatever reason you have it, will appear, but they'll appear as they're missing from here, which, that's just something to note for when you're using it locally. And then the last thing I want to show here is how do you use this with a different code location. So pretty simple. You don't have to do the -h here. That's just something I use because I tail scale into everything. So OSO Dagster. So you just want to point to the right definitions files. And so all the definitions files are in the oso.definitions.star module. So you get SQL mesh, you get ops, and you have default. So if you wanted to run SQL mesh, and this will take longer because I have the caching set to only last for an hour for this one. But yeah, like if I was to run this, this would just spin up the SQL mesh stuff. So there's that. What's the next one?
So as we add a bajillion assets in the future, what's the right way to think about how to organize these?
Yeah. So right now, the way that I was thinking, at least like what we currently have is everything's in 3 different folders, or sorry, 2 different folders right now. So sorry, if we go to OSO Dagster, we have these assets here. They're in the default folder and the SQL mesh folder. Right now, default is just everything else that we've added. I've thought about I would like some opinions on this, but if we start getting more things from like the LLM or whatever, right, like putting that in some intermediate directory, like contrib or something like that, or auto generated, right? So that way, if those things fail and they're like untested, it fails only in a single code location, and it doesn't actually break everything else, right? Like. But for now, the doc says put stuff in default. But I think, we can choose to do different things in the future. But for now, I would say, unless you really need to have it be in a separate code location, just make it in default. Because we're making this we're writing them by hand right now. So
the docs, the docs reflect all this new code location stuff. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I updated all the docs as well for this.
And so by default, throw it in default, and then we will move things out as we need to, is what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. We'll move things out as we need to. I do think, it could be useful to put the unreliable ones in a different code location, just in case their startup is also unreliable, But
And the reason why this isn't a big, like, do you defer loading in default or?
yeah, so in general, we defer loading as much as possible now. So
How do you defer loading in default? Is
yeah,
that built into the factory?
so it's really yeah, it's based on how you write it. Yeah, so that's why, you know, if we have like for the LLMs and stuff, if they start making new factories and things, it would be really nice if you know, if we put them into different code location, just in case it writes something that is eagerly loaded.
Can you show me an example of eager versus lazy loading?
Yeah, so I can show you what it used to be like. So okay, so the SQL one used to be eagerly loaded, but there is like now an option that we found that lazy loads it. But essentially, yeah, this factory will generate an early resources asset factory. So so that thing, if you look at these factories here, you go to common. Actually, yeah, let's go to the definition here. Great. So this guy, what this is it's a way to use like some kind of, you need some sort of dependency, but you want to create an asset from that. So usually that means you're going to be doing some kind of pre-processing. If you just have an asset factory that only does like that only like basically doesn't do any long retrieval, right? Like it's fairly instantaneous. You can just create a, you know, like a normal asset factory. But the early resources asset factories are always lazy loaded now. Or sorry, not always lazy loaded. They are, we attempt to lazy load them if, you know, yeah, as best as it, like to the best of our abilities. And then the cacheable like asset factory, that is specifically lazy loaded. So yeah, it is a special form of the early asset factory that allows us to do that. But yeah. So my suggestion again is, yeah, if you can like create a cacheable, like, so the triage of things, if you can create a cacheable asset factory, do that. That's the first step. If there's nothing to that you need to cache, if it's all just like list processing and the list is built in, just, you know, like you don't even need any of these early things at all. If you need other resources, you know, yeah, but you can't cache, then you're going to have to do, you know, it's sort of choose your own adventure at that point. You have to create the early asset factory and do something there. But yeah, hopefully what you're doing is not going to take long. Right. So if it takes longer than like a second to load at any point in time, actually a second is already quite long. If it takes longer than like 500 milliseconds, like you should consider figuring out how to cache.
So have you migrated all the factories already? Like, say, for example, the archive factory that Javi put together, is that part of this?
So everything follows, they all use like, so a lot of factories that Javi already made are using the early assets factory. So as long as those don't trigger a process to pre-process beforehand, it's totally fine. So none of those right now make any requests out like as a first step.
Got it. And we just basically we either don't have any or are trying to deprecate every custom Dagster asset that isn't a factory pattern, right?
Yeah, not exactly actually. So OSSD has a lot of things that are just.
So is OSSD eager or lazily loaded?
It depends on the asset here. So some of them, like the projects and collections, is technically eagerly loaded, but it does nothing. It's a no op, right? To eagerly load it. So if it's a no op, then just do it. This one, the DLT factory, this is the early asset factory. So this can be lazily loaded.
Okay. Got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So one of the other cool things that I wanted to go over this. Now if we look at the global asset lineage, this should look a little bit cleaner. Shoot, where was that? Oh, here. Collapse all groups. This always takes a minute to load here. Yeah. So, oh, we got 4 failing assets here. Well, that's interesting. So this is kind of where I would like to, this is what I would like to use as what is the state of affairs here. So to the extent that we can make this whole thing appear green, so this is taking a while to load all 800 assets of SQL Mesh, then that would mean that, the health of our system is good. These yellows are just some things that have not yet, or are a little bit stale. So a lot of these are the exports, the SQL Mesh exports. That's why those are appearing yellow. Shoot. Oh God. How do I collapse you?
All right, you said yellow means stale or yellow means in progress?
Yellow means stale. Yeah. So hasn't been used in a while. Like that. Yeah. Actually, this one says it's never been materialized. So maybe if we, I think I actually deleted some state there for that. So, so that's probably why that appears that way. But yeah. Oops.
So I see the 4 failing assets are fake failing assets accounts.
Yeah, so fake failing asset, that's a test one. I can remove that.
So the open collective accounts, deposits, expenses.
Yeah, that one hasn't been rerun in a little bit. So
weren't you working on that, Javi?
Those should have successfully finished.
I see.
Did it fail today or recently?
We can check the latest run of that.
Because the accounts one, yes, that failed, and I have this PR which went in yesterday. So that is expected to be red still because it's a really big one. But the accounts and expenses, that one shouldn't be red.
Okay. So expenses and deposits both have some bad partitions. So yeah.
Oh, we need to retrigger them because they were those are remember the failing ones. We now need to retrigger them.
Okay. Okay. So if we retrigger this should be fine then, yeah?
Yes, everything should be fine. And then the accounts one, that's mine. Yeah, that should be fixed now. I need to babysit the run.
Backfill only failed in missing partitions within the selection. That seems like what they want.
Yep.
All greens, please. Can somebody retrigger post fix?
Only, yeah. Okay. Whoop. Good luck, us.
Godspeed.
Godspeed. Yeah. So the 2 things I really want to see is, as much as possible, I would love it if the timeline of the overview is all greens. Obviously, that's not always going to be the case. We have, the infrastructures on spot instances in a lot of cases, or like this one. The reason why this is red is because of input failure on my side. Like I did something incorrectly. Actually, why did this one fail? Huh. Oh yeah, same one. Yeah, that is the input failure. Yeah. So, but for the most part, what I would really like to establish, from here forward, is that we try to actually treat Dagster not only as a tool to click around and get all the assets, but actually make it so that the scheduling is useful for us. It shouldn't be the case that you look on Dagster and you see a bunch of red, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. The red should be alarming. We should treat red as something is not working on Dagster, and we need to figure out why.
Got it.
Yeah. Sorry. Very specifically, I mean that for the global asset lineage. If you look at the overview of the timeline of the runs, we expect some red to occur.
Yeah. I think what might not be a bad idea if I wouldn't spend more than 10-15 minutes on this is I mean, at the stage that we're at, like what it means to be on call, I think is different than if we were trying to be 3 or 4 nines. We probably do want one doc, probably throw it in Doctosaurus with the rest of your SLOs.
Yeah.
Just like a procedure of what it means to be on call.
Yeah.
And I think part of that checklist is go in here, look for the reds, and triage. Like, don't fix it yourself. Triage who's the person responsible helping you fix this red.
Yeah.
And like certain things are like, hey, I got to fix this in the next hour. And there's a handful of things that are like, okay, this could take. I can bring it up at stand up the next day, but somebody needs to be on call to like actually check.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like it's still somewhat meaningless, right?
Yeah. I saw that note on the thing for the SLOs, and I do want to bring that up. Yeah, I will put together a little bit of the alert, like our alert protocol, or how we handle like something close to an on-call.
Yeah, I don't know what to call it, like support duty or whatever, but like somebody needs to be like monitoring all of our alerts and escalating things as necessary, and someone's like responsible for that for any particular week or sprint or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the last thing on this is the SQL mesh stuff that I fixed up yesterday. So we got that all merged in. I just want to show it's currently running right now, but we can actually look at some of the stuff in here. This is super quick, but you can basically now you can see the snapshot IDs. This is an internal representation in SQL Mesh itself. What's the model FQN? You know, the fully qualified name there. When was it created? Everything's going to be yesterday, and then moving forward, it'll move that around. But we have these other things, and I'm hoping could be useful for data provenance, like when was it last updated or restated? When was it last promoted? This is not a very useful measure because every time you restate, all things get promoted, but I put it in there anyway. And then the last time backfilled, which is probably the most important for data provenance. Yeah. And all of these, assuming that my code is correct, all of these should be updating, when SQL Mesh is actually like doing these things. So, so maybe in the future we can show in the data provenance, it's like, hey, like, you're depending on these things. The latest backfill for this data is related to this. And we could go even further and do some really cool things about like column lineage, but that's not here or there yet. So, cool. And then the final things I wanted to go over. Oh yeah. So we currently have a doc still. I'm gonna clean this up right after this, but basically just detailing the SLOs. I want to just make sure that we explicitly have the things that we kind of care about right now, or that we care about right now, and what our expectations are for those things. So I tried to break things down into specific categories. We have the core source data, we have the unstable source data, we have SQL Mesh. I kept those two things separate from the core, or I kept SQL Mesh separate from the core data because how SQL Mesh does things changes how we're going to have to look at it from a reliability perspective. We have the public applications, obvious. This is just normal services stuff. And then we actually have like consumer Trino as well. The Kubernetes infrastructure I left in here for now, but I think we can, so there are a bunch of measures in here that we're missing right now. Particularly, like there are certain things like the materialization reliability. Like what I mean by this is, are the pods that are running, are they failing, for or are they not, right? I just wanted to make this like part of this. So is it actually, are the jobs actually able to complete after retries or not, right? And if there's if that's not happening, at a certain clip, and it's not some user input error, like we should know that. So that's one thing that we don't have. And And then, there's some other things in here, like the general availability of consumer Trino. We should probably get a measure of that as well in the uptime robot. And yeah, I'll make issues for all of those. We'll just tackle them as we can. For the most part, I think the most important thing is that the public part of the service is meeting our SLOs. And then also the data on Dagster, looks correct, right? And so then the follow-on work for the data on Dagster looking correct is something that hopefully Icaro can be tackling fairly soon, which is related to the data freshness. So I believe that should adjust that global asset lineage view to actually reflect closer to the state, so things will appear yellow if they're slightly stale, or things will be green, as long as they're all good, right? So yeah. Any questions? Cool.
Nope.
Okay, I have one last one. This is just a bonus thing. So I was trying to make cloud monitoring dashboards, but because we're missing some metrics and there's no easy way to get them without making some other kind of service. I did. Oops. Oh yeah. So one of the fun things that I found out when you look through the Log Explorer, they turn everything into so there are a couple things. So we started turning everything into JSON logs, right? So by default now, everything deployed via Python will have a JSON log. You have to specifically set an environment variable to 0. Actually, in our example, you have to set this enable JSON logs to 0 explicitly to disable JSON logging. So I would do this locally for yourselves, because JSON logging is great for machines and bad for humans. But yeah, not visually as useful for humans. But it's great for machines because you can actually take the logs and they have this new, what's happening here? Why is that not working? So the log analytics actually allows you to query logs via BigQuery, actually. So this one, this specific query I created was to actually look at the timing of Dagster assets over a period of time. So we can actually, I created a little dashboard for this. This was me messing around. Where is it? Recently viewed, OSO overview. Let's do the last 7 days. Actually, can we do 2 weeks? I don't remember how much retention I have in here. Oh yeah. Oh, I only have 1 week retention. We can't see. So last week it would have been, you would have seen a massive, this line would be down here, and then the original timing would have been up here in seconds. Right. And now it's now it's measured in these are in milliseconds, these timings. So, but yeah, if we see this number jumping up beyond 10,000, then loading Dagster is taking a significant amount of time. So, but yeah, this was all actually taken from logs, which is, I think, really cool. So, it's a much nicer interface than, I don't know if anyone's ever used Elasticsearch, but SQL is just more pleasant than Elasticsearch. The Elasticsearch query mechanism was their bespoke JSON thing. So this is pretty incredible. So
yeah, way better. Is this view shared with the
rest? This should be across the org, I think. Okay. Let me check. I thought I made it across the org.
like, I guess I'm trying to figure out how discoverable are all of these?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah, I don't
might,
know about discoverability. Yeah, that is a
if they're
good.
shared, great, but it seems like the index is, it says my, so I assume this is like specific to you. It
Oh,
might make sense to link to these in the docs. I mean, it's all behind an off wall anyway.
yeah. I can link to them in the docs. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. That's everything I got.
Okay. Way over.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
lots of stuff. Cool. Well, I'll pause it here. Let's take a break. And I might come find you guys later to just do a little bit of issue triage, but I think we're mostly have a good sense of what we're working on this sprint. So yeah, I'll come find you guys later. Thanks.
Cool.
That's all. See ya.
Later, guys.